Hi and welcome back. I get asked so many times about my recipe for German buns, breakfast buns, or as we call them in Germany, Sonntags Brötchen. And so I decided I'm gonna make a video on how I do them. Of course, we're gonna need a few ingredients for it. We're gonna need some water, room temperature. You don't want it too warm. We're gonna need fresh yeast, sugar, diastatic malt, salt, lard or butter, and some flour. I use German flour, what I get in the German store. You can also use Italian flour, Tipo 00, or bread flour. Just make sure you have a high gluten content. First thing I do is the water. I use 310 gram room temperature water, and then I add my yeast. Just crumble it in. And I'm gonna mix that so it dissolves in the water. Just like that. And then I add my flour. Just a little bit first, not all of it. Just like that. And I mix that in. I do that so that I create a buffer between the yeast and the salt, because the yeast doesn't like salt at all. Now I add my lard to it. But it's always not so easy. Of course, it's so sticky. And the salt, the sugar, and the malt. And I will have all the measurements down in the description area for you, so you can copy it or print it or whatever you like to do. And just mix that in nicely. And now I add the rest of the flour, which is about 500 gram, by the way. And when it has mostly combined, then I take it to my KitchenAid and let her knead it on the lowest setting for about 15 to 20 minutes. And after that, it needs to be hand kneaded a little bit more. But I will explain a little bit more about it when I come back and show you how I knead it by hand. The KitchenAid did a great job by combining all the ingredients into a dough, but with this special dough we have to put a little bit more work into it and knead it a little bit by hand. I lightly flour my workspace, just so that it doesn't stick too much, but it doesn't stick anyway a lot. And you don't want to use too much flour anyway. And then you just work it out. The good thing about it is you can save a trip to the gym, because that is a good workout anyway here. It is important that you knead the dough until it is smooth and elastic. So otherwise the dough won't have enough strength to hold its shape and rise properly. You need to be able to pull it apart thinly without tearing, just like this. See, it's still tearing, so it needs a little bit more kneading. The depending on your flour you use, that can take some time. So test while you're kneading every once in a while. Let's try and see how it is doing. Pretty good. Pretty good. A little bit tearing, but that's okay. Besides that, we don't have the equipment like a baker does, so we only can get to certain things in a certain way, and it doesn't has to be 100% perfect anyway. So what I'm gonna do with this dough now, I put it back in the bowl. And now one word about the time of rising and letting it rest. This dough doesn't need extra heat, like a pizza yeast dough or something like that. You actually want this to rise slow, not fast. So keep it in a spot where it is not too warm. So my dough had 45 minutes now to rest, and as you can see, it really doubled the size, almost doubled the size. So what I need to do now is get a little flour again, just a little tiny bit so it doesn't stick, and pull it out of the bowl. Important now is we don't want to squeeze it a lot, because you can see all those air bubbles. This is exactly what we need. So it's a little hard to get out. It sticks. So don't knead it. Just what I do is just pull and fold, stretch and fold into the center. Just like that. Very carefully, not pressing too much. We only want to give it a new shape. And now we do exactly the same. Another 45 minutes resting time for this little dough ball. In my bowl, goes back in, lid back on, and same procedure again. Okay, we need to preheat the oven, and in this case you should do that really early because you want it to be really hot. So what we do is bake. Don't use convection. It will not work with convection on 250 degrees Celsius. I do have in my oven a pizza stone for baking buns, and also I use a pan with a fire brick in there because when we bake them we need a lot of steam, and that works actually quite well. The second resting time is done and the dough looks really nice, see? And we actually do exactly the same than before, just a little bit flour. We don't need a lot. And take that out of the bowl. So here we go. Now what I do, see all those air bubbles? We don't want to squeeze it too much, so we just pull a little bit and fold over to get a slight roll. That makes it easier to portion. Just like that. So what I do is I cut a piece and I try to aim for about 100 grams of dough, just like that, 100, 110, that is fine. That is good too. You want them pretty much same weight, but it doesn't have to be completely exact. So that's good too. to see what we have here. That's perfect. That's a little less. So let's see if we have one what was a little bit heavier, like this one. Just cut a little piece off. Oh, it's too little. So that will work. Now you just take one piece, stretch and fold. You don't want to have too much flour underneath because then it will not stick in the center. So just stretch and fold. And you see it forms some sort of a bowl, just like that. And then you use your hand and just roll it. And then you have your ball. Next step is to put it on a floured towel. Lint-free would be great for that, of course. Just put it. And then you do that with all your pieces that you have. So I'm at my last one here to fold and stretch and fold. You can actually, when you fold that, you can actually feel how it becomes more dense. And then just do this one more time. And place on the flour towel. You want to pull the towel in between them because they're gonna rise, of course, and you don't want them to stick together. So pull the towel with a little flour on it in between, and then cover with another towel, just like that. And in about half an hour, I will show you how to test if they are ready for baking. So the buns are ready to be baked. Let's have a look. As you can see, they very much not doubled in size, but they got a little bit bigger. And when you want to test if they are ready for baking, you just poke with your finger, and when it comes slowly back, they are just about ready to go into the oven. And they are just at this point right now. So I transfer them to a baking sheet. And then I use my bread lame to score them. And you just want one nice cut in the center of them, just like that. And now they are ready for the oven. Okay, now we need to create some steam in the oven. And I do that by pulling my stone a little bit out. And I have a glass of water here, and be careful. Push it back in and slice my bread, bun, sorry, not bread, on my pizza stone and close it quickly. And I set my timer to 10 minutes. And after 2 minutes, I open and spray a little bit water in there, and after 4 minutes. And after 10 minutes, we will lower the temperature. So 2 minutes, I open a little bit and just spray, just a little bit. Okay, now it's time to add some more steam to it. So you do that twice, at 2 minutes and 4 minutes. Open, squeeze, just a little bit, and you are good to go. So the first 10 minutes are done. This is how they look like now. and we're gonna lower the temperature to 210 degrees Celsius for another probably 8 minutes. Set timer to 8. What you want to do now is shake regularly, so when they get this nice golden color, you can take them out. Not too early, but just so it is to your liking and not too dark. Oops. I think they are quite good. I don't think that works. And one more. Here we go. All finished, all done. And they smell, I can tell you. And look at that. Crunchy outside, fluffy inside. Just perfect. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it and it wasn't too confusing for you. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Leave a comment in the comment sections. It is always appreciated. Thank you for watching.